Welcome back to Cowboys training camp. Today is our last day, and I think I speak for all of us, Clarence Hill, Carlos Mendez, Shireen Williams. We are ready to come home, and I know the players are ready to come home too. They're ready to see their families just like we are. Quick questions, guys. Clarence, we'll start with you. Besides the obvious players, we know DeMarcus Ware and Des Bryant and those kind of guys have had a good camp. Tell me somebody that you didn't think would have a good camp coming in here, or were surprised that they had a good camp.
Well, it's a homeboy, and I got the football in my hand, holding it just like a running back, you know. Lance Dunbar. I mean, there was a lot of talk coming into camp about the rookie, Joseph Randall, but the really surprising running back has been Lance Dunbar and his role. They're going to find a role for him in this offense in the passing game. He may not be big enough to be an every down option behind DeMarco Murray, but they like the way he catches the ball out of the backfield. They like the way he gives them a change of pace. DeMarco Murray, Halton High, North Texas, will have a role in this offense.
Lance Dunbar.
Lance Dunbar, sorry.
Carlos, your pick.
For underrated player of this camp, you know, Travis Frederick to me really stood out because every player, every coach you talk to says the same thing about this guy. He is amazing. He's smart, he does everything we ask him to, he does it properly, he learns everything faster than you think. The only question now with this guy is, can he hold up in the games? You know, they've really got to provide a base for not only Tony Romo, but guys like Lance Dunbar, DeMarco Murray, and he's a big part of the reason he's here. They drafted him to give him that base, up the middle, pass protect, and get the run game going. That's the only question left with this guy.
I'm going to go with Jason Hatcher for my guy, and I don't know if that's an obvious one or not, but you know, they're changing to the 4-3 defense from the 3-4. Jason's done a great job inside, both at the 3 technique and the 1 technique, especially with Jay Ratliff being out, and they're going to count on him a lot. Same thing he kind of said is, how much can this guy play? Can he play more than 35 plays a game? And he's probably going to have to do that because their depth in there, and just scared he's going to get worn down, but they need Jason Hatcher on the field and making plays. And with that, we'll go to the most disappointing, maybe perhaps thing, and I say thing instead of player because we do have some situations rather than players. Carlos, we'll start with you. Most disappointing thing out of this camp?
Well, I have a couple, but easily for me, the one at the top is the offensive guards. There's just nothing there for the Cowboys to even rely on. They don't know when Nate Limons is coming back. They now know nothing about Ron Leary either. You know, at the other side, you know, you've got a little something, you know, in Mackenzie Bernardo, but how long is he going to last? You know, he wore down. He didn't practice much in the offseason last year. Potential he could wear down again this year. There's just no continuity, no solidness for the Cowboys at guard right now.
Clarence?
Well, obviously guard is number 1, but number 2 is the defensive line, the depth along the defensive line. And because of all the injuries, like the offensive line, you have injuries on the defensive line. Jay Ratliff did not play a down, did not practice a down in training camp. He's someone that's key to what they want to do with this 4-3 and moving to this 4-3 defense. They thought he'd be a great fit for this defense. They have not seen him on the practice field. Certainly the first day of camp, we saw injuries to the top 2 defensive ends on the left side, and Tyron Crawford and Anthony Spencer. Crawford's out for the year. Spencer won't play at all in the preseason. So you got issues, you got depth issues, you got injury issues, you got questions there that won't be answered before we leave training camp.
I think another disappointment, both of those are obviously the 2 biggest disappointments out of this thing, but the third would be that they couldn't sign a veteran guard. Tried to sign veteran Brandon Moore, couldn't get him in here, actually agreed to terms and then retired the next day. I think that's a huge disappointment. They couldn't get him in here. And now the fact that Brian Waters isn't here. He could be here next week. There's still a contract offer out there for him. We know he lives in the DFW area, so chance for him still to show up, but they got to get a veteran guard in here.
Well, his price tag just went up. Certainly, you know, he's been holding out for more money, and you know, the right situation, and the Cowboys are gonna have to beg a little more now with Larry out.
Maybe our price tag just went up.
I doubt that.
Clarence, did Cowboys get done what they needed to get done out of this camp?
Well, I mean, top of the list was certainly Tony Romo coming back healthy. You know, he missed the offseason because of back surgery, and he came back and certainly is healthy and ready to go for the start of the season. Des Bryant he's been a beast. He is a beast. He's going to have another breakout season, if you can say that. Because he's been the most dominant player in camp. You certainly like what they saw from Sean Lee, switching to that new defense. He's going to be the perfect, ideal fit at that middle linebacker spot. Again, those things aside, you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish if you can't get the offensive line straight.
Carlos?
I think just getting that new defense put in and getting everybody to understand it, getting everyone to master it, particularly you 2 and most important linebackers, Lee and Carter, if they get it, everybody else will get it down the line. And if that defense can just get a little bit better in points allowed, you know, the yards don't matter, all that other stuff doesn't matter, just points allowed, they're going to get what they wanted out of that thing this year.
I think that's the biggest thing for me is the defense. I was with Monty Kiffin and Ron Marinelli in Tampa. I know what these guys can do, and I think you're going to see a change in the defense. I think it's going to be better. I've watched it here. These guys are starting to catch on to what they want. Like Clarence said, that the problems with the defensive line, the injury problems, are a big Achilles heel for this team. But I still think they'll get done what they need to get done on defense, and they will be better on defense. But in my mind, I don't know how good every team comes out of training camp saying we got better. And so in my mind, I don't know if how much better they are than last year, but that's what we're going to find out in the coming weeks. So stay tuned with us. We'll be back soon with another one of these.
Well, you can't leave without a spike.
At Valley Ranch.
Threesome. Don't put that on the bread.
Tell me when you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Mayor out of it.
Whoa!
Back in, Clarence.
Huh?
It won't fit around my hand. I can throw a good spiral if I can get my hand around it.
Aired up.
Yeah, it's tight.
Wow! I'll get back.